running joke at this point of everything just happening all at once thanks to this new Oscar schedule that we have. So we're going to try to come up with something. Literally. We don't know what we're doing. This is every episode. This is Gone with the Wind. Cue the music. Hey everybody, welcome to Gone with the Wind. I am your host, Manning. This is the show about award shows where we talk about, you guessed it, award shows. And I'm here with an esteemed panel. We're going to rush through this as fast as we can because you know what? This will be going for 2.5 to 3 hours if we could let it, but we have lives. And there are games being played apparently because 2 of my panelists are currently watching or were watching football, both American and international football. We have Ryan.
What's up, guys?
And you are cheering for, by the time it's reporting, the game?
Guess the Ravens, but I don't know. I don't really like either team.
Okay, I feel the same. And we have someone else watching the other football. We have Abe, or I guess the original.
When I said I was watching football, I was watching the Ravens versus the Titans, money. But what up? What up? Actually, my team from Mexico is playing too. Guadalajara versus Ciudad Juárez. I should watch that too. I'm gonna open that too.
Well, you're watching both then. Well, huh. I feel I'm embarrassed now. This is I'm not going to cut it out because I'm lazy. All right, and who are you cheering for, Abe? In either team? Obviously, you told us one team, but tell us for the American football.
I hate the Titans because they go with the Colts in the division, and I root for the Colts. But you know, I want the Titans to win because let's go underdogs. They defeated the Patriots, and I'm going with Guadalajara if anyone cuts.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely rooting for the Ravens now because I was reminded of that horrifying fact that the Titans beat us last week.
Again, Civil War continues with Gone with the Wind. And we also have Malcolm, who'll be leaving in about 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, something like that.
And who are you cheering for, Malcolm?
I'm cheering for movies.
That is my favorite sports team as well, too. That is a good. I love the team movies from that place. Yes. And again, I'm Manning Franks, as I mentioned prior. I am not watching the game. I stopped caring after the first playoff divisionals because everyone that I cared for and wanted as a team to go far enough didn't make it. So, yes. I watched Super Bowl because you know what? That's just kind of an American thing. And I guess could Nate? Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Well, this is a whole other discussion.
Canadians like American football.
They do. Okay. This is a thing. Okay. I just realized that. I was like, I know you lived in America for a while, but clarification along that. This is not sports talk by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. But this is Gone with the Wind. We talk about movies, we talk about award shows. So we're going to ask, before Malcolm has to leave, Malcolm, what have you seen this week?
This week I did an interesting double feature. I went to see Cats finally, and then I went to see Little Women. Little Woman was brilliant. It was just a really great movie, and like all the acting was great. Cats wasn't as horrible as I thought it was going to be. It's still a bad movie, but I actually enjoyed it. I actually liked all the music in it. And I thought some of the films were tolerable.
Tolerable.
And the production design was actually pretty great as well. I think on Letterboxd they actually gave it a 2 stars. So I didn't really hate it as much as everyone else, apparently.
Am I the only person who has not seen Cats on this panel?
Yes.
God, I'll just see it then. Good Lord.
All right. Positive review. I gave it 2 out of 5.
I love that's the bar we have set for Cats.
That's the high bar.
I mean, considering the fact you didn't hate it, that 2 still speaks volumes.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I guess you know what? By the time this next episode comes up, I will have seen Cats. Then I guess. God help me. Anyway, again, thank you again for letting us. And Little Women, of course, you adored. Abe, what are you doing? Abe, what are you doing? I don't see. He's making these hand gestures that I can't understand. Abe, what did you see this week?
I watched an Interception and Return to the 50. I watched a ton of movies actually. I watched 5 this week. I watched Uncut James, Bombshell, Like a Boss,
Yes.
Underwater, and 1917. Why did I watch so much? Because I needed to catch up because I was in Mexico for weeks and I hadn't watched a ton of movies.
That's why we did. That's why he's MIA for a little bit there. And then also, so quick question: what did you think about Bombshell? Because I think from what I read your Twitter review, it was similar to. And there goes Malcolm. Bye, Malcolm. And I think it was akin to what Ryan and I think. But tell us a little more about your thoughts about Bombshell, because Underwater and Like a Boss, they're not really Oscar players, so we'll just kind of forgo them. Sorry, guys.
I thought it was just fine. I didn't like that they went like the Big Short route. I don't think that worked at all at the beginning with Megyn Kelly and Charlize Theron.
I love that.
I
Actually,
really didn't like that. That took me off at the beginning, and then I was entertained. I thought Margot Robbie and Charlize Theron were like great. Like they were the best part of the movie. John Lithgow was really good, if you can say. He was terrifying. But I just happen to think it just didn't hit. I think it could have been way more. I think in the hands of another director. And I don't and I'm one of those that think men can tell women's stories and vice versa, women can tell men's stories. But I think a woman will handle it better, like maybe feels more sympathy than what I don't think the movie was terrible, but I don't think it's like anything new. I think all of the performances, there's nothing to it.
Yeah. And I'll drop a little plug in here, not for me, but for somebody else. On her YouTube channel, Megyn Kelly actually put up an interesting video of her talking to some of the real life people who are both appear in Bombshell and are related to that story. And they all they watch the movie and then they react and kind of talk about things that are true, things that are maybe less true. At times it may be strikingly self-serving in a couple of moments. But I think overall it was a really interesting interview. And I think that it's a great like post Bombshell watch. So if you're going to see Bombshell, click on Megyn Kelly's YouTube channel and
companion
video about it.
I watched that one yesterday when you posted. I was watching, and it really gives you another perspective, but still like my thoughts like change before and after watching the movie. It does. It changed like the way you see the film.
Yeah, I did not know Megyn Kelly had a YouTube channel until you posted that link within the chat, and I was like, "Wait, what? Okay." So, because I don't know, I apparently, I'm someone who's on YouTube a lot, still not aware of that, so that's on me. Apologies for that. But yeah, Bombshell, from mostly agree, the performances are by far the highlight of that film, and we'll have to see how that turns out, because apparently the two have really are near locks at this point, and one of those actresses might be getting a double nomination, but we'll see about that in the future. Ooh, spoiler alert. Ooh. And then Ryan, what did you see this week?
I only saw 1917.
Okay, so. All right. Well, there we go. And then right before we talk about
sorry,
movie Uncut James.
I did not see Uncut Gems. No?
You
not yet. I have not seen it yet. I keep putting it on. It's one of those I keep putting off because I keep hearing, oh, it's so anxiety inducing. Like, I don't want to go through that in my life right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty like because I've seen 50 minutes of it. I have a sense of the movie and I know the ending, so I know where it goes. So it is anxiety inducing, but and actually it has come out in a small theater near me, so I will be able to see it sooner rather than later. But
yeah, I will eventually check it out. I just have to prepare myself mentally, like, okay, you're in for a ride, just strap yourself in. And then, of course, speaking of movies that are stress-inducing, or actually maybe not stress-inducing whatsoever, I saw Hustlers finally, literally, like I finished it 30 minutes before we started recording, and I was surprised. I agree with you guys. It's actually really solid. Those trailers did it absolutely no justice whatsoever. Constance Wu is really good. Jennifer Lopez, I don't. Okay, well, first off, I think she's very good. I don't see where people are like, she has to win the Oscar, because I don't see that at all. But she was really good. The story was actually a lot more complex than I envisioned it actually being, and there were some really solid directorial choices. From what was her name? I feel real bad because I just literally just watched it and her name came up right when the movie was over. I'm gonna correct everyone right now because I'm talking just to get
Lorene Scafaria.
You beat me to it just as I was about to. Okay, yeah. She also did Seeking a Friend at the End of the World. So,
do you think Jennifer Lopez is better than Laura Dern in Marriage Story?
In Marriage Story, yes, I will agree with that completely.
I know who you're rooting for, Florence Pugh in Little Women, but
I mean, from sheer performance-wise, from the supporting actresses, we'll get to that a little bit later. But at this point, she is currently, for those who are the farthest up at this point, the one that I am personally rooting for. But we'll get into that supporting.
I actually think I like every other supporting actress nominee more than Laura Dern in Marriage Story.
Yeah,
like every other possible option, I like more than.
I know, which is really sad because. I mean, if we're being honest,
it's not that it's a bad performance.
No,
it's just that the others are more interesting.
It's a very one-dimensional performance that she gives, and it's very much it feels more of a lifetime achievement Oscar at this point than it does an actual here. This is the best supporting actress performance. Oh, you're Laura Dern. Here you go. That's what it more feels like. And it's kind of sad because I feel like she's given better performances even this year than what this, I don't know. I don't know why this has become the one we give the Oscar for her to, but we'll go to that. We'll get a bit later. But anyway, Hustlers is really good. Check it out. I made the mistake of watching it here in my house. I had to skip a couple scenes at the beginning because my mom and sister were just kind of walking around like, nope. You can kind of tell considering the subject matter. But I will say overall, really excellent film. Not the best thing ever, but from what I was originally sold as a product, I was thoroughly impressed. Great directorial style, solid also writing, and Constance Wu and Lopez were the highlights for me acting-wise personally. And yeah, that was Hustlers. But also, we all saw a movie this week. Literally, some of us saw it today. And that is Sam Mendes, 1917. The long-awaited film. We have what have we? Oh, I gotta let Ryan. He's the one who coined this. Ryan, what does this movie look like?
Sex.
There you go. I'm not taking that away from you because you're the one that coined that right there. Because the Father Deakins is the one who has blessed us with blessed our eyeballs with this beautiful film. Mm-hmm. However, that being said, I don't know what Abe's opinion is on it, but Ryan and I have similar-ish feelings toward it in the fact that we probably overhyped it for ourselves, and I guess what the attention, the awards it was getting, because we had our faults with that. And I'm going to let Ryan take the ultimate, since wait, did I see it first? I saw it technically, I guess, first. But so anyway, I'll let Ryan handle the opening thoughts for a second, then I will piggyback off, and then ultimately I want to hear Abe's opinion because I still have no idea his thoughts on this. So Ryan, tell us your initial thoughts.
He's a black box.
He is. Well, let's have to open the black box and find out. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so I saw 1917 last night, and I definitely overhyped this film. I think that it's a spectacle of technical production.
Absolutely.
And I think that it took a kind of interesting approach because it was like in the vein of Dunkirk, it was a very technical movie, but it wanted to go, and I'm just going to use other movies as examples to kind of demonstrate this point, even though it's really not like either of these films, but it's a technical product like Dunkirk is, but it wanted to lean a little bit more into the personal stories like a Saving Private Ryan, but it didn't quite have, it certainly hit more of the technical beats, but like it didn't quite have the acting prowess underneath it to bring out a lot of those emotional moments. It made it, and I thought particularly the two main actors, they certainly try, and it's not like they're necessarily awful.
Oh,
but neither of them are. Let's put it this way: neither of them are Academy Award nominee caliber performances. And it really it brought down a lot of the movie for me, and it made it difficult to kind of get as invested as I felt I should be in this movie. And I kept sitting there being okay, that's an amazing moment, or that's an amazing shot, or that's an amazing idea, but I can't get invested in this because I just don't care about this person that much, because they haven't conveyed to me who they are through the screen in an effective way. And that was what kind of took me out of it. Again, I still think this is a very good movie and a movie that people should see, and it's interesting. And Roger Deakins should win an Oscar because,
oh my God, yes.
Chief, I'm going to raise you one on this one, but because it's honestly, it's stunning. Although I do think that, we'll get to that later. But in any case, I think that I think if this movie had better performers and conceivably a better script, it could have been a real masterpiece level movie, and it's not. And that's disappointing, but this movie is still very good. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I came out of the theater feeling very disappointed, but at the end of the day, when I think about it, it's a very good movie. So it's hard to feel really that upset about. I don't know. That's where I stand.
No. And I'm actually in the near same boat as Ryan. I'm a little higher on the performances, and the more fault I give is to the script and the shallowness of the script. It's literally very surface level. The highlight of this movie is by far the technical prowess that Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins managed to do. As I said in a quick thought I had, this is a literal tango between the actors and the people behind the camera attempting to dance their way through this entire thing. And it's beautifully choreographed. It is something that is a technical feat that I don't see many movies successfully, at this point at least, successfully copying. But I'd still love to see movies being told sparingly in this type of way, in a different type of medium, or a different type of genre, different type of story. I don't think the problem was the actors. I think the problem, again, was coming from the script and the fact that they really weren't given much time to emote. They had two scenes really to just be there. And by that time, I was invested merely because I felt like I was there most of the time, that I was actively living the lives of the characters I forgot their names, which I guess is a testament to the script. I know their actors' names, George McKay and Charles Nope. See, can't even remember the actors' names. So whoops.
It's Corporal Blake and Lance Corporal something, but
there you go. I
don't know who the other one is.
Which is sad because I think I think they did a decent job with what they were given. I was on board. They had nothing wrong with them. It was just the fact that this was a highlight more of a technical movie. This was the Gravity of this year. And I love Gravity. But it is, the screenplay and the story is super thin, incredibly thin. But it is built upon the backs of a great technical achievement and also a better lead performance than Sandra Bullock. But she's also Sandra Bullock, who's been in this business a lot longer than these two budding actors who could give amazing performances in the future. We don't know. I'm excited to see what they can do because okay, now I'm pretty sure everyone knows this now, but that was the young one who, spoiler alert, dies halfway through. That's Tommen, everybody. That is Tommen.
Okay.
From Game of Thrones.
Distinctly missed that, but
you didn't? Okay, well, guys, surprise, that's Tommen.
Although, okay, so
quickly before we jump to Abe, because we are both fascinated by his take. I did want to say one last thing about the performances that I think kind of animates what I'm thinking here. So first of all, the other guy's name is Schofield, so that we have the characters' names, Blake and Schofield. But what I was struck by was every time there was a seasoned actor on screen, the film was better. Whether it was Colin Firth at the beginning, Benedict Cumberbatch at the end, Richard Madden at the end. Like, there are moments where seasoned actors step into this movie, and every time they do, the movie is better. And that's where I blame the actors a bit, because the script has problems, but it's I think a degree of inexperience, and maybe some of this lays on the director too for not directing them as well as maybe he could, because he was worried about the sheer technical direction of this feat that they put on the screen.
Oh yeah.
But I think that that's really kind of where it fell flat for me.
Okay. And now, Abe, it's fresh in your mind.
I think we all fall in the same ballpark, but I think I'm in the lowest, like in the lower part. I was not impressed. I mean, technically, no, like, I mean, technically, yes. Like, there's moments that I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Especially at the moment, like when he just passed by the river and all the sequence that looks, I don't know how they shot that. When he's like in the town, I don't know, like kind of an abandoned
That was
town. That part just blew me away. Like, I was so, but the whole movie I was just not impressed. Like, I was not connected to the characters, as you guys said. I just don't think it worked. As Ryan said, I think like with Colin Firth, and like when I listened to Colin Firth, I said, oh my God, this is good. Like, this could be better. Like, and just at the beginning. And when you go to retrospective, like, oh, what did I like? Just the visual stuff, like, because Roger Deakins, like, there's no question he's a master. Like, it's like that's a movie for me. I was not impressed. I think it's really good, technically, but story-wise, it's not that good. And I think for a film to work, like, you have to care about the characters. There are so little films that actually work. Where I think Dunkirk, if you can make a comparison, I don't think you get connected to the characters in Dunkirk, but for some reason, Nolan's direction keeps you more engaged. And that, you know, which film it reminds me of The Revenant. A lot of people walking the whole time, beautiful shot, dead horses.
Well, it certainly had the visceral caliber of
yes. Better lead performance.
And I don't like The Revenant.
Oh yes, no, a distinctly better lead performance than The Revenant.
Oh yeah, that's the difference. I think that's like, if with better with better direction, it will have worked.
Well, that is the difference, though, and I think that's really a shame, because 1917 is, like, the story is conceptually good.
Yes,
and what they're trying to show is conceptually good. The production design is amazing. Like, I mean, Roger Deakins does an incredible job, but like, he can only do so much if he doesn't have something interesting to photograph. And they gave him something interesting to photograph. And
they made No Man's Land one of the most, like, fascinating areas of waste I've ever seen. That sounds weird.
It was
but,
just
like,
so eerie, and like,
yes,
you just, like, every time you looked a little bit closer, there was another body. Like,
that's what unsettling. I've never been so unsettled by dead bodies before. And like, we've seen horror films, we've seen stuff where it's like, oh man, horror film. But this was like, I felt to my core like, dear God, this is war. This is the aftermath of war. But anyway, yeah, that's, sorry, Abe, Ryan, I'm sorry, you were saying something else?
Well, I was just going to say that, like, these things are all so good that it's, like, I think it's just kind of, like, it's very sad to me that, like, with those things being so good, that they couldn't figure out these other elements.
It is well, this is what I think also. This is a beginning of what I hope for in the future to be movies that can hopefully master this, that will hopefully experiment with this possibility of doing one-take movies, to where it won't be a gimmick or a novelty. It'll be a style of filmmaking that not many people can do, but that we can see possibly be done better. And 1917 really paved the way. Birdman, to a degree, kind of did that, but there is something about 1917 that was, how do I say this? There was something special about this one that kind of puts you in the shoes as if you were an inactive observer You were someone who was there the entire time, the third person, and I appreciated that aspect. I just wish the script gave the actors something more to do. Now, what I think they could have, if they've given more to do, I think that would have helped their performances be elevated more. I also think if you had better actors, or more not better, seasoned actors, people who've been in this business a little longer, could have given performances with so little, better performances with so little that they were given.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the Star Wars prequels. Like, when you look back at those movies, you notice that the actors who are veterans and who are skilled wound up giving the best performances out of those movies by a large measure. And I feel like you got a similar effect here. And why I think that, like, and if you look at something like Dunkirk, there's a lot of actors in that movie that aren't very seasoned. But in every case, like, I think that they were directed a lot better in terms of their individual capacities by Christopher Nolan. But I think that if you look at that, like, the actors who had to nail what they had to nail were all very seasoned veteran actors, except who's his face? Barry Keoghan.
You're talking about. Yes, there you go.
Except him, everyone else who has a major role to nail was a seasoned actor, because the, like, main guy who is the no name is designed to be a no name person. He doesn't have any major emotional beats to nail, whereas Schofield and Blake in this movie do have a lot of major beats to nail. And
that is true.
I think the best performance by either of them was probably the kid who played Blake, especially when he's dying.
That is
I think the best acting moment between the two,
because they're given something to do and it's dying. They're told that instead of just walking around, which I think that this wasn't as good. Sorry, you're about to say something, Abe. You go ahead and say. I think giving them that was an idea to show they can act. It's just I don't think that they were given the opportunity to really shine. If they were, because he was dying, I didn't really connect with the character, but I was like, oh God, I feel so bad. He's a kid, and this was happening to him, and that's what made me feel something. And his dying gasps and just like, oh God, oh God, oh God. That hurt me personally. And I was like, man, you got me. I just wish most of the movie had that emotional weight to it. I'm sorry, Abe, you were saying?
Oh, no, I was just going to say that we needed more of those scenes. Like the scene where, what's the name? Schofield was with the mom and the child. I think that scene was powerful. You understand it. And we needed more something like, I think at the beginning, because at the beginning you just, hey, you have this mission, take someone, go. That's what happens, and you don't know the characters. I think if they would have spent, I don't know, 10 minutes of the runtime, because a little bit of the walking and maybe how they interact with the troop or anything that could have made a better characters. Because you can see the actors are good. I mean, they're serviceable, but like I think it was missing that, like, an emotional connection that could have been set up at the beginning of the film.
I agree. But anyway, enough about 1917. So overall, we really like it, but will it appear our top 10 of the year? Well, we're going to find that out soonish. Not this week. We have too much to talk about. Way too much to talk about. But soonish, before the Oscars happen. And before we get into that, you know what also is dropping? Oscar nomination day, excuse me. Paul? Anyone want to finish my sentence? No one knows? Is it
Monday?
Yes, Monday. The Gone with the Wind Awards. The second annual. There you go, guys. The nominations will be that day right after the Oscars have announced. I will get that up and make that accessible for everybody. I'll make a little video about it and put that in the description as well too. Also share it on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff to get you guys to vote. So that will be out, and then for 2 weeks we will have that open for y'all. Oh yes, Abe, with your hand up. Yes. No, go ahead. Don't put your hand up then.
I'm watching football, and the Titans is watching
okay.
But seriously, anyway. go vote in the Gone with the Wind Awards, because they're the only awards this season that, unless you are in some guild, that you get to vote for.
Yeah, so, you don't have to be in a guild, because we don't.
Also, we're the only fan vote show that allows everybody to see all the movies that are played in 2019 that go white, because we waited until 1917. and Just Mercy, which were the last films released in
I gotta see that.
2019.
Yeah.
I have to see that. Just for Destin, Daniel Cretton alone. Short term 12. Heart. Has my heart. Anyway, that is our big announcement we want to announce. Also, Abe, I'm not sure how it's going, but you are currently tabulating, some word that way, the best of the decade. Is that correct?
Correct, money. The thing is, a ton of people bailed me at the last minute, and I didn't got leaves before Christmas, so I have to wait till the holidays. So I think we're gonna release the first episode last week of January. But
last week of January.
Yeah, just need 2019. I said I'm just gonna wait for 2019 and record everything with everybody at the same time. So I'll contact you.
Listen, considering the fact that not every major release comes out to like mid-January, that's fine because that's how the award schedule's always been. Anyway, moving right along. Guys, the Golden Globes happened, BAFTA nominations happened, DGA happened, WGA happened, PGA happened, and Oscars are happening by the time this is recording 2 days from now, and when this is being uploaded 1 day from now, Monday morning. So, as Samuel L. Jackson says, hold on to your butts, because this is going to be a fun hour left episode that we have to do, because Abe has to go at 10. Now, specifically speaking, the Golden Globes kind of set the tone for the rest of this week. 1917 won really big. Now, we're going to quickly go through those winners before we get to kind of talking about individual categories and what this means for the race. We're not going to go into our predictions per se. Just for time's sake, we're not going to worry about that and try to name it out. But we're going to talk about the categories and our what we think will win and what we think has the best shot, what we think, not win, excuse me, what will be nominated, what has the best shot to get nominated, and what's kind of just died at this point now without the nominations it is needed to pursue or needed to get that love and attention. So did I say who had the Golden Globe? Oh, that's me. Just kidding.
I have them up too if you need me to.
You do? You know what? I'm going to let you tell us who the winners are. Don't care about the nominees, but tell us who the winners are for the Golden Globes this past week.
Okay, so recapping the Golden Globes. I'll start from the top of the list and go to the bottom. Winning Best Motion Picture Drama was 1917. Again, we talked about it winning big this week.
Yeah.
Winning Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Not a surprise.
Nope.
Winning Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture Drama is The Worst, Renee Zellweger.
Nope.
Winning Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture Drama was Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. Mm-hmm. Weird speech, but okay.
Okay, pause. That speech. Okay, do we think that speech hurts?
Like half of the speech.
I don't understand half. Yeah, I didn't understand it.
I mean, like, at least, like, the one thing I will credit him for is that, like, at least he had, like, unlike a lot of people who are just, like, saying, like, throwing out platitudes about some political belief they had, he was at least, like, he, like, gave them a tangible thing to work on. He's like, maybe don't fly private everywhere. Yes.
Okay,
but,
that's the one thing I took from it. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I can get that.
But otherwise, it was a bit of a strange speech.
Although Joaquin Phoenix has been known for being Joaquin Phoenix.
He seems like a weird dude. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy was Awkwafina for The Farewell. Woo! Best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy was Taron Egerton, as we learned for Rocketman.
Pause again. we were watching this, and we were like, "Excuse me, where is the D, or was it the G? Yeah, it was the D. Where's the D?"
Well, but apparently it said Edgerton, despite the way they spell his name.
Yeah. What were you saying, Abe?
No, where's the D? That sounds weird.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. I didn't realize that until you said it. Now I am going to forever keep that away from everyone from what I said, because that can be taken out of context. All right.
Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in any motion picture, Laura Dern for Marriage Story. And by the way, she is not the worst of this five. We were talking before the show started that I thought that Laura Dern was the worst of the five likely nominees for Best Supporting Actress for this performance. I think she would be better for Little Women, but that's another story entirely. But she is not the worst of the five Golden Globe nominees, but we don't have to get into that. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role in any motion picture, Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Probably a bit. I want to say. Well, we'll get into that category a bit later. But I think that's kind of indicative of what may be happening in the future.
It may. Best director, motion picture, Sam Mendes, 1917. Best screenplay, motion picture, Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Best motion picture animated, Missing Link? Question mark.
Biggest shock, honestly, of the night.
Best motion picture, foreign language, Parasite.
Not the biggest shock of the night.
We were all terribly surprised. Best original score, motion picture, Hildur Guðnadóttir for Joker.
Wow.
I said that very badly this time. Best original song, motion picture, I'm Gonna Love Me Again by Elton John, which I've listened to a lot now and is actually genuinely a really good song.
It is. It really is. I'd be happy if that won.
And then the remainder are television, and we do not care about them.
No, sorry.
So.
This is not the Gone with the Television Awards.
Sorry, TV.
We love you, but not enough. All right, so that was the Golden Globe win. Just as a quick recap, so we are caught up. But now we're going to kind of dive into the categories a little bit more and see where it is, because by this time, when this goes up, nominations are tomorrow morning. So we're kind of going to discuss the actual category, and again, less of the actual predictions and nominations that we have, because Lord knows, if we're going to be honest, it's going to change by the nomination day. All right, skipping shorts, because we love you, shorts, but we have not seen any of you. So we cannot give you an actual positive or an actual discussion, I will say. All right, but anyway, we're going to start off with the easiest one, international film. Yes, best international film. This one, if we're going to be honest at this point, guys, it got a PGA nom, it got a DGA nom. I think this is Parasite. Like, this isn't even Parasite and the rest of the people. I think, right?
Do you think there's a chance that Pain and Glory, if Parasite wins Best Picture? Because I remember people saying that about Roma last year, that Cold War could win if Roma wins Best Picture. I don't see it, but it's just wondering what you guys think about that.
This goes back up to the point Ryan said last year, Ryan, about
that it makes no sense.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That would happen.
People say that.
I could hear that, but I also don't think that Parasite necessarily has the best chance of winning Best Picture. I think that Parasite's a lock for Best International Film. I don't think it's I think it's in that top contending class for Best Picture, but I don't think it's trending upwards in that race.
We need to see if DGA, like, I think the best bet is if DGA gives it to Bong Joon-ho, but we'll get into that directing slot. I think it has a better shot, if this sounds really weird, at director than picture. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But that's international film, really. It's just kind of like Parasite and Parasite. All right, we're going to go documentary. This is another category that's really interesting because we have a finalized list, again, for those aware, Apollo 11, or short list, I should say. Apollo 11, American Factory, For Sama, Honeyland, The Cave, One Child Nation, The Biggest Little Farm, Maiden, The Edge of Democracy, The Great Hack, The Apollo, another Apollo movie, but not about a plane or a ship, I believe, Knock Down the House, Midnight Family, Aquarela, and Advocate. So, at this point, the biggest ones that I've heard talked about, Apollo 11, Honeyland, For Sama, are the ones that I've heard the most about.
And American Factory.
That's another one I heard a lot. So I think those are the four that are safest, if we're being honest.
I think there are three shoo-ins in this category. I think Apollo 11, American Factory, and For Sama are all shoo-ins in this category.
Yeah.
And then I think you pick two others. I really hope, I haven't seen it yet, but I hope, because I've heard it's amazing, that One Child Nation can sneak in there. But
that's what I'm actually, again, we're not doing predictions, but at this point, I think One Child Nation, because isn't that on Netflix or is that on Amazon Prime?
Amazon.
Okay, because easy documentary to pull in for the streamers. And again, that's how some of the other ones got in last year. So, but somehow...
Icarus won on that.
Yeah.
That basis.
Yeah, 2 years ago when Icarus won, 3 years ago, 2017. What year is it?
Yeah.
Whenever Icarus won.
Oh no,
yeah,
2 years ago, because last year was Free Solo, and then
Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but this time,
2017.
again,
Yeah.
obviously the one we've heard about the most was Apollo 11. That's been like the big talk that we've heard about.
We've heard about it since what? Since January when it premiered at Sundance. Everybody was hyping
One
about
whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's been a year since they've been campaigning.
And it's amazing,
Okay.
so see it.
I'm waiting for it to get like release somewhere so I can, because I'm excited.
It's on iTunes. It's been on iTunes for months.
But like anywhere besides iTunes, like, you know, because like maybe Amazon, or I can rent it there.
Well,
right?
you can rent it on Amazon. Yes,
I can. Oh, well, I know what I'm doing later this week. All right, so guys, animated feature. Okay. All right, so I have no idea what's going on. After Missing Link won the Golden Globes, I thought that was dead. But somehow the Hollywood Foreign Press thought that was the best out of all of them, even though it's not. Well, what are you going to do? This, I believe, will be probably, because there is no front runner this year. There's nothing that's sweeping anything.
Yeah.
When's the last time that's happened?
Never. So with Disney.
Well, okay, the Lego movie year, 2014. That was Big Hero 6 and How to Train Your Dragon 2 again, and Lego movie. Lego movie won a lot of stuff, except he didn't get. I don't think it got BAFTA or the Oscar, but it could be wrong. I know it didn't get the Oscar.
So I feel like usually like the Annies are generally the best predictor for the animated award nominees.
Yes.
And usually you get one or two out of best indie feature subbing in for a couple on the best feature list for them. Their best feature list: Frozen 2, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, Klaus, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. I think the most likely to miss on that list is Klaus. Yeah. And then the most likely from the best indie feature list to get on are probably I Lost My Body or Weathering with You, I would guess.
If enough
one of
people
those two.
If they had seen it.
Yes, which is another question entirely. But like, if I had to guess, that's probably how that would play out. Who's going to win? Who the fuck knows? But
although,
that would be
after BAFTA, when Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon came in, watch out, guys.
Okay, but Shaun the Sheep is a very, like, Aardman is very British. And it
is.
And so there's a lot, and Shaun the Sheep is like is an important like British animated character.
And yeah, so. You educated on me that last time. I'm just kind of, at this point, I'm just making a joke because that is the last thing I thought could make it in. Because the first one's really good, actually. You actually encouraged me to watch it, and I was like, "This is funny. I like it." But this one I just kind of avoided because I forgot it existed. So I'm just kind of shocked because Klaus also made it in over Hidden World, and I Lost My Body. So, and Missing Link.
Who knows? I haven't seen Klaus, but I've heard it was good. But...
I have heard good things, but I haven't heard it nearly enough.
Yeah.
So, okay, so at this point, if you guys were putting money down on what was winning best animated feature, first thing on top of your head, what do you guys think it's going to be?
Toy Story 4.
I think that's smart money spent.
Yeah, because they said, "Oh, there's been 4 of these. This is good." I guess so. Even though I like with time I've been disliking that movie. Like as time passes, like I was disappointed.
I mean,
I just think it makes sense.
Well, it's not bad. It's just not great.
No, it's just not the same.
It's not Pixar level.
Yeah, I don't think the animation is particularly strong. I think they're fine movies or good ones. I don't see anything great. Like I Lost My Body is really good. Hidden World is really good. Frozen is good. But I don't see anything.
I mean, it's just kind of not a great year for animation.
No.
Yeah.
Like, again, we've had an embarrassment for riches for the past 5 years. So we really don't have any grounds to complain. But
okay, and here's before we move on, this is a confession. the more I think about Frozen 2, the more I realize it is an utter mess of a film, and it is not the best. And I feel like I defeated myself when I kept typing it up. But that being said, I still love it for the mess that it is. So just wanted to get that out there because it's affected me this past few days. I keep seeing Lost in the Woods thinking like, why weren't you better? Anyway, but hey, speaking of Lost in the Woods, when the nominations come out, that better get in, guys. Okay, like anything, just that one, just Lost in the Woods. That is my stick. I'm putting in the ground.
Usually, the best song of a movie usually doesn't get in. Like Moana, I think "Welcome" is a way better song than I don't know. My Way. I don't remember the name of the movie.
Listen, as long as it wasn't shiny, I'm happy.
I like that song.
How Far I'll Go is clearly the better song.
Yeah,
I was really happy that got nominated because I was like, that's actually a good song.
It's really, really good. Anyway, okay, best visual effects. Okay, and again, we are now down to another short list that came up, which is Avengers Endgame, Lion King, Star Wars vs. Skywalker, The Irishman, 1917, Alita Battle Angel, Gemini Man, Captain Marvel, Cats, and Terminator Dark Fate. Why? I don't know, but it's there.
The VFX in that movie are really good.
Are they?
Yeah,
really?
I think they're really good. That's why you say, why is there? Because they're really good. The scene in the movie is mind blowing, honestly. Like the VFX they use, I couldn't believe it. But continue.
And just as a reference, best special visual effects at the BAFTA was 1917, Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, The Lion King, and Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Honestly, that could be the same Oscar 5.
I think it's a safe bet to say that.
But
I think can get in, and I doubt for maybe of the technical because Gemini Man, I think the effects like recreating Will Smith, it's really good. That film was not that good, but I think the VFX field nominated, I think they could appreciate that. I think that was sneaky.
I was going to give Alita Battle Angel a chance, but
I was about to say, there's always that one that gets in there. You're like, oh, okay, I see. That's always that one that just manages to creep in. But I don't know if Gemini Man's that one because The Irishman's right there where it had de-aging of some kind.
It's different.
It's different. But you look at the Oscar voter, they'll be like, oh, they de-aged Will Smith, but they also de-aged De Niro. And if The Irishman is going to pull in as much as it is, I think they might be more inclined to vote for that one because they also have the flashy, visually heavy effects of The Lion King and Avengers Endgame. And honestly, Rise of Skywalker could miss. I can see it being a donut Oscar day.
I think it's a pretty safe bet to bet on 1917 and The Irishman because both of them are more likely to be Best Picture, and I think one of those is going to win because we've seen it enough times.
I feel pretty good about picking The Lion King, and I frankly also feel good about picking Avengers too, for that matter.
Because if it's going to win any Oscar, that's the one. Honestly, at this point,
yeah,
it'll be like here's your one Oscar for all the movies you've done.
There you go.
Visual effects, congratulations. But yeah. But also, have you guys seen the behind the scenes effects they've done to I probably plastered it all over your Twitter, but whatnot, of 1917, that scene of literally the character, George McKay's character running in during the charge, how they got the camera off and the explosions, that the camera work that they did for that scene in particular. If you have a chance to find it, look at it. It's very, very interesting and shows that it is a visual effects. It's not exactly special effects. It is what they managed to do visually wise. It can be practical as well too, because that's just kind of how it is now. It's not just computer generated effects. All right. We're going to put the sound categories together for this one, just like BAFTA also does. Because what probably is going to happen in the future too. So this, I think we're both safe to say 4v Ferrari seems like the one at this point to get in, at least for nomination wise.
Yeah.
In 1917, probably.
I thought the sound, I watched it in Dolby Atmos, and it just sounded incredible. Like every single step, even this just steps in mud. I thought it just sounded amazing. Like the story was bad. But the song was really good.
I forget which one. Like I forget which category it is that musicals normally get nominated, and I think it's mixing.
It is.
Yes.
And so I think that Rocket Man has a good chance there.
I agree. If Bohemian Rhapsody can get in, Rocket Man sure has a shot. Like by principle alone.
You're like, it's a matter of principle.
I mean, at this point, with Taron Egerton making it in so much so far, they like it. And at this point, I think it's a safe bet. You do any movie about a famous musician or musical artist from the 70s, 80s time period, you're kind of golden at this point. Just make it good, everybody. But yeah, okay. So basically, Ford v Ferrari, 1917. Does Star Wars, okay, with the rather tepid response for Rise of Skywalker, does Star Wars pull a donut, or is it safe in like visual effects and the sound categories? And is Williams default as always?
I think
it still has a good chance in those categories.
Yeah. I think the Last Jedi was not affected, and I think there was way more factors to that film than this one. So if you're gonna take that in consideration, I think there's no.
Although I felt the backlash was more from fans than it actually was from.
Oh yeah, I know, but this.
You're right. No, I mean, yeah,
the fans totally the narrative at the end.
All right, so I'm trying to think anything else that could pop in. Avengers Endgame, throw it again as well for this one, but it's kind of at this point they seem to be a race between Ford v Ferrari 1917 for sound, and with Rocket Man maybe being a spoiler of some kind for sound mixing because they like that stuff. All right, song guys. All right, so this category for song. Oh, actually, before we moved on real fast, for everyone who is unaware, the BAFTA nominations for sound were 1917, Joker, Le Mans 66, which, get this, guys, that's Ford v Ferrari. I was so confused when I thought that pulled a donut on BAFTA day. And then Rocket Man and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. So I'm kind of surprised about Joker, but that's kind of a symbolization of the 11 BAFTA nominations that I got that day. It was very well loved. Regardless, song. We had mentioned prior, I'm Gonna Love Me Again. It seems to be that one that's kind of shooting its way to the top. At this point, do we think that's the one? At this point,
to win, yeah, I do.
I agree.
Because what else is there? There's nothing really that's kind of. I
mean,
don't...
if you look at this short list, there isn't a lot that's like a really good song.
No.
And like the Oscars does a decent job of picking the best song generally.
Yeah, at least for the win.
Yeah. Like they generally don't do a bad job of that. And it just seems like the best song of the 10 on the short list that I'm looking at here. I
know. So yeah, we have right now. Stand Up is probably going to be one from Harry. It's going to make it in with possibly Cynthia Erivo. One that I think we probably should look at, depending on Parasite, is A Glass of Soju. I don't remember that one whatsoever, but if they like Parasite enough, maybe that could sneak itself in, possibly.
Maybe.
Sure. And you can't ever count out.
Into the Unknown will be nominated.
Yes.
Spirit will probably be nominated.
I was about to say never count out Beyonce.
But
from what movie is that one?
Spirit is the Lion King.
Yep, that's the one.
I don't remember that movie.
It's all a blur. All right, score. Now, as Ryan mentioned the Golden Globes, Thomas Newman did not win for 1917, which again, another great score. I thought another technical aspect 1917 that was really good. Joker won instead. And if we look at the BAFTA as well, 1917, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Right now, there was no Marriage Story. Marriage Story didn't do that great, honestly. BAFTA, but what do you expect? I think you could switch JoJo with Marriage Story, and you maybe got your 5. Because 1917 and Joker seem like, and even Little Women, I think to a degree, are safe-ish picks. And then you have Marriage Story, which, while not in Love to Cross the Pond, could be the one you could look out for now. And then John Williams does his thing, and he defaults. And he's... Do we remember that score?
What score?
At all? It was Rise of Skywalker?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like the theme, but was there anything that really stood out to you personally?
Yeah, the song that starts at the beginning of every Star Wars movie. That's the only thing I remember of the score.
Wow, I don't need that sass today.
I mean, he mixes a lot of themes in that movie.
He does. He does.
Really fun. But it's fair to say there isn't something new from that movie that stands out especially strong in the Star Wars oeuvre.
Yeah.
But he's still like, look, it's still one of the best scores of the year, I think. Like it's just somewhat derivative of his previous work.
Which is his work. So there is no question about him using other people's work that he can't be disqualified, because that's a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Best production design. Again, for reference to the BAFTA that we have, production design, which they have 1917. Look out for 1917. The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I think Little Women could sneak in. I don't know which for what, but I think that's a possibility there. Or I honestly, if I have to pick a winner right now, I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think Tarantino did an amazing job. Like controlled the whole 1969 vibe, and I just think that makes sense. And it's Hollywood, so and they like to love themselves.
Also, that's true. But let's not also forget we literally talked about the production design in 1917 is like the second best thing of that movie, or maybe it's like a 1A 1B type thing.
It's the second best thing of that movie.
Well, I'm just trying to be kind to the production designers there. Because that it's a great production. Like if 1917 wins that, I would not be opposed, because that is just something they literally built from the ground up. I would love to be like, when they present the short list to the actual guilds, I would love to see what they present and all that behind the scenes stuff that we are not.
Do you think that we will get a sense of what's going to win at the end of the night by how much they're picking up down here? Because it's very possible that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and 1917 are two of the top contenders. I mean, certainly they're two of the top contenders.
Agreed.
And if one of them starts to pick up a lot of these technical awards, do you think that's going to have any play for what we see later on?
Yes.
Yes and no. Yes, because it depends on what it picks up. Like if cinematography is picked up by 1917, that's obvious. It
will be picked up by 1917.
Yeah, and editing. Like I think editing. I don't think you give it to 1917, considering Berman was not even nominated for editing, and it won Best Picture. But if Once Upon a Time gets it,
well, yeah. I mean, we look back at when we get to editing, which is actually really soon. I think 1917 will have a hard time because it didn't get nominated for the Ace Eddies. I don't think it's going to have a difficult time winning if it gets nominated. But yeah, also look out for Parasite. I could see Parasite sneaking away in production design if they like it enough. But that's like, because that house is a character in of itself. Great house. All right. Now that we actually have 5, makeup and hair, specifically. We have Bombshell, Joker, Rocket Man, Judy, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Dolomite Is My Name, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, 1917, Little Women, and Downton Abbey.
Can I ask that question? How is Joker nominated for makeup?
Have you not seen his iconic face?
Yeah, but still.
why is the Joker? Okay, just as a clarification for everyone, makeup and hairstyling over at BAFTA is 1917, Bombshell, Joker, Judy, and Rocket Man. So
I think that's an interesting one because I could see Little Women sneaking into, and if it's nominated for Best Picture, I think there's a chance. I think Joker. Well, they gave it to Suicide Squad, which, I mean, there it goes.
I mean, Killer Croc Man.
Yeah, but that's an El Diablo and Harley Quinn.
That's true. Those are some cool tattoos.
Yeah, but the Joker is just a god painted. I mean, of course, the makeup plays in on the democration of the character of how Joaquin looks, and he truly is like that helps his performance. But I don't know. It's just I don't know about makeup. So just
no, I mean, all I know is Bombshell is getting in. That's all I know.
I think we have. I think if John Lithgow, but I mean, Charlize Theron getting nominated, and she's probably the second in the race after Renee. So I think Bombshell can win.
And then Rocket Man. I think if Rocket Man does well, this is where it could sneak in as well too, because you've seen those. Have you seen that makeup and hairstyle that they also did on Taron Egerton? Excuse me, I'm trying to remember to say that. They sculptured a prosthetic onto his face, including his own teeth, to make him look like Aaron Taylor Johnson. What in the world? Elton John. Why did I say Aaron Taylor Johnson?
What are you thinking about, man?
I don't know. I kept thinking of Taron Egerton, and then somehow, some way, it just kind of all Edgerton. Excuse me, Edgerton. Ugh. And also, watch out also for Maleficent, Mistress of All Evil, getting in.
That will be well deserved. That movie I thought it was fun, but I thought the visuals were the best part of the movie. The movie is directed by I think he was a visual effects supervisor or a production designer, so it looks good. Everything technically beautifully. So that wouldn't be a surprise, honestly.
Okay.
Also, have you seen those cheekbones?
But they also did that for the first Maleficent, though.
Yeah, it's still great. The Star Trek movies get nominated like 100 times.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. Film editing. All right. So this is my favorite category. This is going to be interesting because right now at this moment, I could not tell you what is automatically going to win. I probably can tell you what BAFTA is going to win. Ford v Ferrari. They love. If you go back and look at what has won this actual or BAFTA, this BAFTA, it almost always goes to the racing movie. Almost always. Rush won the year, wasn't even nominated at the Oscars. So that's a feat in and of itself. That's what I'm shocked about. But for the editing aspect of it, it's just there's so much. I wouldn't be shocked with that one.
I agree with you in that one, and especially if it gets nominated at the 9th spot that most people are predicting, that's a chance. Because Marriage Story, if it goes all the way, I honestly The Irishman. Going back, it's so different. If not Oscars overall, no BAFTA, but I think The Irishman, those 3.5 hours for me, went like that, quick, and I love that movie so much.
I know you do. Yes, you do. So Ryan, we're talking about best film editing at the moment.
Cool.
So, what we're talking about for best film editing that we've kind of jumped over and through.
1917. That if
yes,
animated something. Like that.
Now, it missed Aesthetes and Birdman, which it did miss BAFTA as well too. Wait, did it miss BAFTA? Really? Wait,
it did. Yes.
Yeah, the thing is that Birdman was not nominated for Best Picture, for Best Editing. And it got the exact same gimmick. If you, I don't think that's a correct word, but just put it that way.
Yeah.
If we go with that logic, I don't see 1917 going nominated for Best Editing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I see it getting it is if they love it. They love that movie. Then
it's just and war movies typically best editing. It's a common award for them. It's an award that they play well in. Yeah, I'm actually, I'm honestly surprised because you think that the editing skill it takes to stitch together all these long takes is actually somewhat advanced.
Yeah, but it's
but
also,
it's not a lot of editing.
Yes, that's the thing. It's not a lot. If you look at what has been nominated before, like what won BAFTA last year, or was it the year before? Vice won. That is a lot of editing. Was it the best editing? That's up for debate, but it was the most editing probably that they had. But yeah, I mean, just because the sheer amount, I could. What was that?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah, Vice was 2 years ago. Bohemian Rhapsody was last year. That is also the most editing. That one best editing. I forgot. I put that.
They were the same year, Manny. Last year.
Oh, that hurt me to remember. Oh, how is it not like anything else? Jeez. Okay.
But if you look at 2017 and 2016, Dunkirk and Hacksaw Ridge both won Best Editing,
which are both great editing. So,
I mean, yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they get it right like most of the time, but then they have those years where it's like, good Lord, what are you doing? But yeah, war films. Also, as I was mentioning before, Ford v Ferrari. Look out for that one again because they love their racing movies.
Yeah.
Specifically BAFTA. Again, go back to literally look at the Wikipedia page. If there's a racing movie, it probably won. I mean, Crash won. Not Crash. Speed won Best BAFTA that year. Speed, guys, for best editing.
Cruise Control.
That one did not win anything at the Oscars. But I think if you don't see 1917 in best editing, don't be shocked. I'd be more shocked if it was there. I'm at this point, if I'm being honest.
At this point, yeah, agree.
I think it would be them really liking it, and you know what? Cool, good for them. All right, best costume design. We're actually making good time here, guys. Look at that. We're speeding right along. Costume design. Is it at this point? Is it almost anything but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Because that is an eclectic bunch of costumes we have there.
Yes, and it's well deserved.
I would be totally here for that.
I'd be on board. I think that the BAFTA nominees are all pretty good. I hope Jojo Rabbit gets nominated in this category because I think the costumes are kind of cool in that movie.
Yeah, and actually they play a part like Scarlett. I don't know it's a minimal part, but it's Scarlett Johansson's shoes, and Sam Rockwell at the end. Oh my god, this sounds so bad, but that
the cape.
Yeah,
it's like why not at this point? But no, but I think
the costume.
Jojo Rabbit did the same thing that If Beale Street Could Talk did a year ago, and that was a year ago, and that was use the costumes to complement the colors of the scene itself. There was a specific color palette that worked well with what they were going for. Not that other films don't do that, but there was a very particular deliberate use for that, and Jojo Rabbit did that really well. And I think that's safe-ish, but also, Little Women seems also like that's tailor-made for this nomination as well too. So
yeah, but usually those films like they get nominated, but they don't win anymore.
Yeah,
I mean they do, but sometimes, but they usually don't anymore. Like they go with the most. I mean, it's a era. How do you call it? Like
period piece.
A period, yeah. They're a period piece, like with a more modern period piece. They go for those. Okay,
I'm gonna check this, but did Anna Karenina?
Yeah,
did that win that year?
Or was it Great Gatsby? If they both were 2013, it was Great Gatsby.
I believe I'm still not positive on the year that Anna Karenina's released. But yeah, it's not often, but when it does happen, it's because it's really liked. Also, is there a possibility that Downton Abbey gets the nomination and makes it in to costume design?
Yes, I think
there's a possibility.
But is it a strong?
Actually, you know what I'd like to see get nominated for costume design is Rocket Man.
I agree.
I think that would be a good nomination.
Listen, the moment he opened those doors in the very opening, spoiler alert, I guess,
With the like, weird demon thing.
Weird demon thing. I'm like, I like this costume design. And they really managed to capture Elton John's eccentric costumes, and it works great in this movie. So
By the way,
actually...
Elton John sidebar for a quick second. Do you guys hope he wears something more dramatic at the Oscars than he did at the Golden Globes, or do you want him to be more like toned down?
I don't care, but I mean, if we can go more eccentric, it's always cool.
I would love for him to have this wonderful mashup between the two. Like he has this couple things that stick out. Like he might be wearing a tux or something, but then he has this weird hat that's just like, oh, it's so you, Elton. Or glasses, full on like weird giant glasses, or I don't know. It's just enough to make him like that's Elton John, because I mean, they get that costuming's actually really good. I actually think it gets in. I'm gonna be honest. I think it actually gets in. Win maybe, but I think it gets in nomination day. That'd make me happy. All right, cinematography.
Roger Deakins.
Yeah, we don't have to discuss.
Okay.
He's won 2 in the last 3 years after so many years without getting. I mean, he hasn't won it, but he's probably gonna win.
I mean, at this point, you might as well start engraving it now, because there is nothing I think that comes close to what that did camera-wise work. Like, I think there are some great pieces to this year, but I don't think anything comes close to the technical feat that they did. That takes so much work, guys. Jeez. All right, but I think if there's anything else that makes it in as well, what was the ACS 5? I need to remember. What was that? That was like 1917.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Irishman, Joker, and there was a 5th one that I can't remember what it was.
It was, I believe, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I will look it up. Yeah, it was 1917, Ford versus Ferrari, Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and The Irishman.
That's what I couldn't remember if it was Ford v Ferrari. That was the one.
BAFTA had The Lighthouse, and ASC had Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay, so I can see The Lighthouse being that lone nomination, because there's always that one movie that pops in, and we're like, how did you make it in? What's that foreign film last year?
Cold War.
Cold War?
No, there was another. Wasn't there another one? There's also that other one that we're like.
Either? No, that was.
No.
I had made it in.
I know the one you're talking about, but
it was a foreign language film that came out of nowhere. We're like, how did that happen?
Let me look it up.
Shoplifters? I don't know.
So is there?
It got a cinematography nomination. Never Look Away.
Never Look Away. So is there a possibility Portrait of a Lady on Fire? Because I know that's gotten a lot of merit from the critics.
I was thinking that when you were
cool.
I think that I haven't watched the movie because he doesn't open it like in.
But that's also like, I don't know if like they're getting it out to Academy voters. Like, I mean, Academy voters might just go and watch it and enjoy it, but because it's not in contention for Best International Film, like I don't know if they're sending out screeners of Portrait of a Lady on Fire to anybody.
And if you have it up, Never Look Away was also nominated for Best International Film that year, or Best Foreign Language Film. Okay. All right. So then, yeah, you're right. That possibly could be the case. But then, so that means if there's any merit, Parasite could also sneak in there. That's probably the other one that could.
I mean, that would be cool. I think, honestly, I think that we get the BAFTA 5 less Joker plus Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's what I would. That's what strikes me as the right answer. But I mean.
This is actually a really good year for cinematography, just in general. There's a lot of great pieces. I mean, we're not even talking about Ad Astra, and that's still one of the most striking visual uses of color, at least this year.
Yes.
And it's not anywhere near the conversation, guys. What are we doing with our lives? So basically, Father Deakins, blessed be his name. I will keep that running joke going until the day until the day I die. What am I even saying? I will always do it, and even after you leave us, Father Deakins. All right.
So are you saying he's going to die before you?
No, well, you're right. He's eternal. I
think that's a relatively safe prediction. But...
I mean, where's the wood to knock on? Jeez Louise. All right. Original screenplay. Now, this is where we get into some WGA territory. Which one did I say to look that up again?
I got PG.
I have the WGA.
All right. So for the WGA right now, Hit us with what we have for WGA.
All right. What do you want first, original or adapted?
Original.
For WGA, original screenplay, 1917, written by Sam Mendes and Christy Wilson Cairns. Booksmart, written by Emily Halpern and Sarah Haskins and Susanna Fogel and Katie Silverman. Knives Out, written by Ryan Johnson. Marriage Story, written by Noah Baumbach. Parasite, written by Bong Joon-ho and Han Jin-won.
All right, so original screenplay, real quick for the BAFTAs is Marriage Story, Booksmart, Parasite, Knives Out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Is that the exact 5?
No, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was not eligible for the WGA.
You're right. I keep forgetting. I told you that. Wow, how did I miss that?
I think the BAFTA ones are the 5. I just think it just makes sense.
Yes, I think BAFTA's right. I think Booksmart's a weird nomination, but whatever. I think BAFTA's right as a general matter.
Okay, at this point, I think Booksmart maybe misses. And I'm going to take this to my grave. I currently have The Farewell getting its single nomination. That's just I'm going to die on this hill, but I'm going to make sure The Farewell gets something, anything. But I think Knives Out's safe at this point, and I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, that movie falls on the screenplay of how the actors play it and the direction and everything, but the screenplay is just the best part of the stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think that for sure Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Marriage Story are getting in.
Yeah.
And I think Knives Out is relatively safe.
Yes. They could be. And I think that last spot, you know what? I would honestly be very saddened if 1917 made it in, because
It's not very well written.
It's not a very well written screenplay. It's not bad. It's just like, I don't know. That'd be very disappointing, because I can see it, because Gravity, which I'm using in a lot of comparisons,
Gravity was not nominated.
Exactly, it was not nominated, and I think
either Dunkirk or
Dunkirk was Dunkirk. No, Dunkirk wasn't nominated either, right?
Not
for what?
Screenplay.
Oh.
So there is precedent for war films missing, and I think possibly just because as WGA and a lot of stuff was ineligible.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Tarantino's clearly getting a nomination. Like,
yeah.
So that's already one of the WGA 5 is missing, regardless, like, no matter what way you cut this.
Yeah, did he get Hateful Eight? No, was he nominated for Hateful Eight?
No, he was not nominated for that.
Okay,
but that was not a strong awards contender. Just Jennifer Jason Leigh was the only nomination, I think.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, if he get in for that one, he's safe in almost like anything recently that he would do. All right, adapted screenplay. Tell us what we have.
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, written by Micah Fitzgerman-Blue and Noah Harkster. The Irishman, written by Steve Zalian. Jojo Rabbit, written by Taika Waititi. Joker, written by Todd Phillips and Scott Silver. And Little Women, screenplay by Greta Gerwig.
And basically, if you look over at BAFTA, it is exactly the same, except instead of Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, we have The Two Popes, which another excellent screenplay.
I prefer the BAFTA nominees.
I don't like Joker. The weakest part of the film is the screenplay, and if I have to swap one for the Oscar, I will swap it just for The Two Popes, because I think that movie relies on the screenplay. That movie is the screenplay. And the acting, of course, but that movie is the screenplay. Just two people talking, basic acting. Well, not that basic, because both of the actors are incredible, but that movie relies on that.
Yeah, no, I'm about to say, I want Joker to miss, because that is the weakest part of Joker in my mind, at least. But this Joker love is continuing, and I don't think it's gonna stop. So Joker's getting in. Although I personally love A Beautiful Day. I love the screenplay, the style that
Maria Heller.
Thank you, Maria Heller used to tell this, and I don't know if that was direction choice or screenplay. But however the case is, if it's going to get anything besides Tom Hanks, this is the only thing it's probably going to get besides Tom Hanks. Because when we get to there, God forbid, we've just jinxed it. But until then, I'm kind of hoping that Neighborhood kind of sneaks in there. But that's just kind of like at this point, I'm living on a prayer. All And those have been your WGA nominations to supporting actor. All right.
I don't think we should let that.
That's our new theme. Okay. All right. So. Okay. Enough. All right, guys. Halt. All right. Supporting actor. At this point, I think Brad Pitt is looking mighty fine at this point.
Correct.
I mean,
he
is always
mighty fine.
But that's
I knew I said that. I'm like, someone's gonna take that, and yep, there we go, Ryan. Run with it. Yes, actually, I have. That is I don't know how someone is that chiseled. I scratched that, but any of the Chris's. All right, so best actor in a supporting role. We had for BAFTA, Tom Hanks, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins, Two Popes, Al Pacino, Irishman, Joe Pesci, Irishman, Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Honestly, I think you have 4 near locks at this point, with both Irishman guys, Pitt, and then Hanks. God, please let Hanks just have one more Oscar nomination under his belt. Break that streak. There's no way he misses, right?
There's absolutely a way that
he has been getting nominated in every single one.
But like he's made it everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, we're sorry we've missed you so long. This is here you go.
The Oscars will find a way.
The Oscars always find a way. Okay, so who do we think that 5th spot is going to be? Because at this point, you got Hopkins, you got maybe a Jamie Foxx coming out of nowhere, like he did with SAG. You got
the actor from Parasite, which I cannot remember his name.
Song Kang-ho. That is actually, I think they might pull what's her name from Roma? Marina Di Tavera. Yeah, Marina Di Tavera. That's, I think, if they loved Roma that much and they brought her in, if they love Parasite. What was that?
When I predicted Marina Tavera.
Yeah, that was impressive. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
So I'm being bold and saying that Song Kang-ho is brought in as well too. But Anthony Hopkins could sure also.
I think Anthony Hopkins is definitely getting a nomination. I think that Song Kang-ho could beat out Tom Hanks, and I think that and I think that there's an outside chance that Willem Dafoe could out
for the Lighthouse.
For the Lighthouse.
So you think Tom Hanks is 5 right now?
Yes.
Is the 5th spot.
The Academy doesn't like Tom Hanks. We've established this.
I mean, yes, that once. Okay, you're right. After Castaway, they were like, "All right, we're good. No more Hanks."
Yeah, he keeps not getting nominated for things. He hasn't won anything in an age. Like, Tom Hanks is an Academy loser. He's not the
fact that he's won, even though he's won 2 Academy Awards in the 90s back to back. He's not he is an Oscar loser.
Yeah. How long ago were the 90s?
30 years ago. Jeez. That was that was about 20 years ago. Jeez. Okay, so at this point, you still don't have Tom Hanks get again, Ryan.
No.
Okay. Okay.
After we discovered on this show, literally on air,
investigative journalism at its finest.
Hanks, I am not putting him on a prediction.
Okay. You're right. Okay, you're right.
I can't trust them.
We're jinxing it. And if he makes it in, great. Glad for you, Tom Hanks. Your streak is broken. But until then, apparently Gone with the Wind can't get on board as a whole. And you're making it in. But at this point, it's Brad Pitt, right?
Yes.
He's going to win, yes.
Unless, like, Al Pacino comes in hoo-ha and out of nowhere for SAG.
So I think Al Pacino, of course, is well liked, but who doesn't love Brad Pitt? I mean,
yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
You beat me to it! Oh, no! You beat me to it!
In the words of the great Ken Maxwell, that guy can turn a group of women into a water slide. And men.
But yeah, so like Brad Pitt doesn't have an Academy Award as an actor.
No.
And, he gave a really good performance, so it'd be kind of nice to see him get one finally.
All right, so Best Supporting Actress. Now, this is where things get real spicy. Not going to lie here, guys, because got some hot takes. Okay, obviously, Laura Dern. She's probably... The supporting acting races aren't too interesting win-wise. Nominations, they're a lot more interesting. But if you look at BAFTA, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Laura Dern, Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, yes, thank you, God. Margot Robbie for Bombshell, awesome, great. Margot Robbie for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna need Ryan to help convince me and give me this is my counseling I'm gonna need, because I don't think she's not bad. She just is doesn't have much to do. And I think there are a lot more better actresses out there. So for supporting roles, Zhao Shu-sin, for me personally, that should get in over Margot Robbie twice. Defend Margot Robbie for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as a case, because I need some counseling here, because that made me very upset.
Well, she's very good in the movie. Like, she doesn't have a ton of dialogue, and she's not a very showy Tarantino character, but she's critically important to the understanding of that movie, because the movie is designed for people who know a lot about Hollywood history, and it's designed to speak to them more. But for people who don't, her character is there to elicit feelings of what a symbol of goodness Sharon Tate was. And she just kind of glows on screen at all moments. And every scene with her, she's so subtle, but great at just generating those feelings of goodness that when the conclusion of the movie happens, you feel really vindicated and cheering for them, for the bad guys getting defeated, because you know in your head what happens in real life. And it's that kind of contrast that is so good. And Margot Robbie, just she lives in that role so carefully, and her performance is absolutely dialed in from start to finish, and she just exudes the spirit that Tarantino wanted her to put on the screen. And I think that is a rare thing for an actor, and I think that's why I would have her on my supporting actress ballot.
That helped me a little bit. I still wouldn't have her on mine, but that helped me a little bit.
That's fine. I can understand, especially when somebody's getting nominated twice. There's a chance that two actresses get two nominations in this thing. So,
are an actors not able to get nominated twice in the same category?
No, they can. It's just the same performance. You can't get nominated for for instance, let's say there's a split and you get nominated for supporting actor and lead actor for the same role. The Reader. You have to go for that one in particular.
Oh, okay.
It just can't be the same performance. But anyway, at this point, the biggest shock occurred is when I realized that the BAFTAs don't like hustlers.
Yeah.
When Jennifer Lopez missed, and people always, and I'm telling Malcolm beforehand, people always say Oscars were so white. Nah, the BAFTAs have been whiter way longer than the Oscars ever have. And again, I don't think it's intentional. I don't think they're let's do this thing. I just think that it was kind of a strange coincidence, more so than anything else. Because the number 2 person in this category, Jennifer Lopez, missed, which I thought was interesting. But I think that speaks more to the movie itself being not.
Who are the 5 that we think? So Laura Dern, J-Lo.
Yes.
And who else? Which other 3?
I think
Margot Robbie for something.
Yes.
She clearly gets a nomination for something.
I don't think that she gets both for the Oscars, but I do think
she's only getting one. So Margot Robbie for something.
I think Bombshell is a safer at this point, just because it's people.
I think it's a safer bet. I think that Scarlett Johansson gets in, and I think that one of the Little Women gets in, probably Florence Pugh.
And yes,
I can see. Who I don't know who misses, but I think I can see Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell. I think she's really good in the film.
I think that she is, and she should get nominated, but I think that everybody has forgotten about that movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
except
she's getting the money.
So
I think there's a chance for that.
I was about to say that's going to be a long shot. But anyway, if that happens, at this point, it's just Laura Dern's world. They're living in it. And all right, best actor in a leading role. I just lost everything that I had. All right, we're almost there, guys. 4 more. We have actor in a leading role. We have, at this point, guys, it's just kind of like there are 3 locks, excuse me. No. Right now, I want to hear what you guys' thoughts. Right now, there are 4 in my mind that are getting nominated Oscar Day so far. Maybe 3. Right now, Driver, Joaquin, DiCaprio, and now Edgerton.
Mm-hmm.
Is that presumptuous for Edgerton to make it in? Because he's gotten both Globe, SAG, and BAFTA.
Mm-hmm. No, I think he gets in at this point. Actually, I honestly think the SAGs have the 5 for the actors.
I think that's
like 5. I think that Christian Bale gets in as the 5th guy.
Defaults his way in.
Like I think he beats out Jonathan Pryce, and that's nothing against Jonathan Pryce's performance. I just think that Christian Bale has a little bit more like Academy clout.
Yes, he does. They'll nominate him a lot. They like him. But I think also, but I wouldn't be shocked if Pryce manages to make it in as well, because that BAFTA helped him a lot.
I wouldn't be shocked.
No,
but...
yeah. Is De Niro dead in the water?
I think he's dead. Honestly, like the Irishman getting shut out at the Golden Globes was kind of like telling.
I think it's well respected. I don't think it's loved as much as we thought. At least with that group, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's fallen out of like a top contender category. Like I really think that the Irishman is falling in people's estimation. Not that it's like falling in their estimation in terms of like how much they enjoy it, but it's falling in like their awards estimation vis-a-vis other films.
Now, okay, so right now
we don't see Eddie Murphy or Adam Sandler or any of those getting nominated.
Not anymore, I don't think.
I agree. I just think if any of those 2, which are so beloved actors, that would have gotten a SAG, I would be more willing to put money on there. But they didn't get that. That's right.
Honestly,
I mean,
no, go ahead. I'm trying to formulate my thought right now. You go ahead, Ryan.
I mean, from what I've seen of Uncut Gems, like Adam Sandler, by all, if there were any justice in the world, he would get nominated. But he just has had no awards traction, except his threat to make a really bad movie if he doesn't get nominated.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
There's the only award story I've seen about Adam Sandler this whole like season, and it just like it again. If there were justice in the world, he would get nominated. But I think that they will cruelly omit him, despite his great work, and despite the fact that we should incentivize Adam Sandler to do this more.
We should. We definitely should.
I mean, he did major the Noah Baumbach movie that came out like 2 years ago. I won't even.
Meyerowitz Stories, which was awesome.
Yeah, he did that.
And he on Sharp Love, which was awesome.
Do we think Antonio Banderas is no longer in the conversation?
I think this was that category which I'm not willing to put money on any of them. The only one that I'm willing is Joaquin and Adam. I don't even trust DiCaprio because they don't nominate him for Django, which he was so good in it. So I don't even put money on DiCaprio.
But also,
I'm pretty sure about DiCaprio.
Yeah, because Django. I mean, it's not the same level as Hollywood at this moment.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's just that I think there's 2 locks, and I think there's 3 spots for like 6. I mean, DiCaprio is a possibility. I think Taron too. I think they're in the top tier, but wouldn't be surprised if any of those 2 misses.
I remember like a months ago when I forgot who saw Rocket Man for the first when we talked about it, and we were saying, "Oh, he's not going to get." There we go, Ryan. I think maybe Ryan, you said it, but you're like, "Oh, he's not going to get nominated or win or anything." Or you said, "Would it be cool if he did?" But we didn't have any hope and expectation, and here we are.
I said based on Bohemian Rhapsody winning, he should be, but he won't be.
Exactly, and now here we are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm
leaving, guys.
He's leaving. We have 3 though, Abe, no.
I need to catch
I
a
know.
bus because I broke my how you call it?
Car?
No,
Boat?
no, what the
The bank?
no, my bed, my air mattress. I did a hole in it, and I need to fix it, and I need to go to Lowe's.
Okay, all right.
Good luck, guys.
That has been the baseball with Abe.
Yeah, sorry. You can follow me on Twitter.
There's a lot of weird jokes I can make there, but I will refrain.
So this is my air mattress.
Okay, go get your air mattress.
Bye.
Bye, Abe. All right.
Bye, Abe.
All right. And then there were two. We have slowly gone down. We have gone down to two people left. All right. So we have three things left, and we have actually, considering where I thought we were going to go, we've made decent time, and I'm kind of proud of ourselves. So lead actress. At this point, I believe. Okay, so BAFTA did us a funny by throwing in Jessie Buckley for Wild Rose. Have you seen that, Ryan?
No.
Okay.
But I think it's a British movie.
It is a British movie.
So we can pretend it doesn't exist for the purpose of the Oscars.
Youch. Also, apparently the director was Tom Harper. Not Tom Hooper, but Tom Harper. So
what a distinct and unique British name.
Very, very British. Okay, so Best Actress in a Leading Role, we have Jessie Buckley, Wild Rose, Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan, Little Women, Charlize Theron, Bombshell, Renee Zellweger, Judy, and Cynthia Erivo, who had made everything else until this point, not present.
Mm-hmm. And SAG, to remind people, was Erivo, Johansson, Lupita Nyong'o for us.
Yes.
Charlize Theron for Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Which that Lupita Nyong'o one is still super cool. That they remembered that performance in that movie. Okay, so the question now remains: who's making it in alongside Theron, Johansson, and Zellweger? Because right now, Ronan missed SAG, but she got Globe, and now she got BAFTA. Erivo got Gold Globe and SAG, but missed BAFTA. So is it just those two, and then we don't, and it just kind of defaults into itself, and we don't get a surprise from Awkwafina or Lupita last minute?
Well, I think that Saoirse Ronan gets it.
Probably.
I think that Little Women has picked up steam, whereas Harriet has distinctly lost steam.
You're right.
So,
based
on timing, I think that Ronan gets in, whereas Erivo maybe doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a surprise.
We do have a surprise, which I think possibly, I don't, at this point, I've given up on Awkwafina making it in, and I've accepted that, and I am sad. But
now the Gold Derby odds have Awkwafina in. I don't know necessarily, but
I can't. I mean, she won the Golden Globe, which made me very happy. But at the same time, although missing BAFTA isn't really, I'm not shocked because they didn't care for the farewell outside of they nominated for a film not in the English language. So, which technically, yeah, but no one. So, Ryan, I know you probably don't want to admit this right now, or actually you probably will admit it, but you won't like it. Zellweger currently is probably the front runner at this point. But is there any chance that Theron and Johansson could come in the back half and take this?
Yes.
There is. Especially Theron, probably. I mean...
And they should.
And we're going to leave it at that, because I was just curious about what his opinion upon that was. But if Awkwafina made it in, again, hear it now. I don't think she is, but if she is in, you will know. You will hear Manning be very, very happy. And finally, two more. Director. Now, Abe's gone. So...
I have that too.
Oh, you have DGA? Oh, he had PGA. That's what it was.
I have that too. But
okay. All right.
I loaded everything. But
okay, cool. I will let you grab DGA for us, and I'll take PGA.
All right. Outstanding Directorial Achievement in a Theatrical Film for 2019. The Directors Guild of America nominates Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, Sam Mendes for 1917, Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit.
There is always that one nomination that comes out of nowhere, and that was Taika Waititi. I thought I was dead in the water, honestly, when it came
the
to
Directors Guild always has an interesting choice.
Yes, they do. Does that translate at all? Because the DGA 5 is rarely, isn't it? It's rarely the 5 ever.
Well, it's usually 4, and then there's somebody.
And there's somebody. So is it the Golden Globe 5? Is it the BAFTA 5? Which, let me repeat the BAFTA 5 for everyone. Bong Joon-ho, Sam Mendes, Todd Phillips, Martin
The BAFTA 5 is the same as the Golden Globe.
Yes, and Quentin Tarantino. Just so everyone is aware, that is the exact same 5. And that could honestly default, but I could also see Baumbach kind of just coming in if they like Marriage Story, because they could like Marriage Story a lot.
They could. But I kind of think that, like, I don't know. There's a few people playing in that space. I think that Todd Phillips plays in that space. I think that Taika Waititi plays in that space.
Yes.
I still have some outside hope that Greta Gerwig plays in that space.
I do.
And I think Noah Baumbach plays in that space. So I think the 4 of them are circling the one remaining spot.
Yeah, which I think Best Director is probably the most interesting personally race for me, because it's like there are 4 people that are comfortable, and there's that 5th spot that is currently being fought over by 4 different individuals. And right now, I think, again, I have Greta Gerwig currently creeping in, because there's always that one year where like a Lenny Abrahamson or a Ben Zeitman or Ben Zeitman, I believe his name was, for Beasts of the Southern Wilds.
Oh yes, yeah.
Where someone comes out of nowhere and just makes it in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like Little Women is trending upward, and
yes,
there's been a lot of like flack given for there being no female directors nominated for anything. So like maybe the Academy's like, maybe we should nominate. And I'm not saying that be like Little Women is one of my favorite movies of the year. I think Greta Gerwig should be nominated this year.
It's deserving.
Whereas I didn't before. So with Lady Bird. So now she is deserving of her nomination, and she should get it. And so she is in my 5, and I think that she should get it. So I hope the Academy does the right thing.
No, I do agree. That could be the moment where it's like I don't want to say that Todd Phillips is going to default and we're going to just have that 5 throughout the entire time, because I don't want it, because Joker is, and I'm going to get so much flack for this, an incredibly overrated movie. It's good. It's very good, but it's also very overrated too.
It's doing exceedingly well, though.
I know.
So,
that's what makes me sad. Or not sad, but like, I wish I got the same amount of love that people have for Joker. Like, Joaquin Phoenix, phenomenal. The cinematography and the score were other fantastic highlights of it. But it was nothing that kind of like, you know what I mean? Gripped me and made me question the world, which I guess
it did grip me. I just think that like my only problems with it were some aspects of like what it brought in from its comic booky side. When it stayed away from the comic books, it was a really good movie.
Whoa, Malcolm, where'd you come from? Apparently Malcolm's back. Yay!
I came from space.
Yes.
And we're back up to 3.
I'm not sure how that is more indicative of the rate at which you guys finished Rankum, or the rate at which we are going right now for our show. So both?
Both.
Oh.
It's both.
All right. So anyway, Best Director, again, what we think: Bong Joon-ho, Scorsese, Mendes, and Tarantino are all safe. And we'll just ask, who is your outside 5th pick, Malcolm? Or actually, do you not have those 4?
I cut out a little bit, but so I'm assuming you asked me if I had the 4 of Tarantino, Scorsese, Bong, and Sam.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, my outside 5th pick I've got is Todd Phillips, but I'm kind of leaning towards maybe changing it, because I think that the 5th spot is probably either going to be Greta Gerwig, Todd Phillips, Noah, or Micah.
Did you just listen to what we just said?
It's like you just listened to our program. It's like Malcolm listens to Gone with the Wind.
It's like, but like literally the exact same 4 that we just said for the 5th spot. I am But like, this isn't even like literally. This didn't even air. You weren't present, and yet you still got that.
Ironically, I can't remember who I said it to, but I did it to someone the other day. That's probably what's going to happen.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
No. That is likely.
That is likely. So then now, all right. Greta Gerwig's at 5th spot. That is my final answer until I change it nomination day. Ryan, what's that 5th spot going to?
GG.
All right. All right. Not a great movie, by the way.
Oh, it's not a great movie.
GG.
Oh.
No, it's not. Sorry, Malcolm. Go ahead.
For now, I've got Todd Phillips, but I'm probably going to change that to Greta Gerwig in a minute.
Team Greta Gerwig. All right, guys, this is it. We got Best Picture, and we're actually going to be under 2 hours, hopefully, probably, or hit 2 hours exactly like I was hoping. So we are doing good. All right, PGA nominations announced, and we have, ladies and gentlemen, 1917, Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Knives Out, Little Women, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. And ladies and gentlemen, those could be your 9 nominations right there, minus Knives Out as that 10th spot. I mean,
good.
Let's break this down a little further. There are currently 4, movies that I think that are in that conversation to some varying degree of the top ranking, which are The Irishman, Hollywood, Parasite, and now 1917 after it is currently building up that Golden Globe win. And then you're starting to get to some lower tiers, which are like Marriage Story, Joker, and Jojo Rabbit, especially after that DGA nomination for Taika. So that's 7 right there, right? I can count. That's 7. Yes, so then those last 2, because we get anywhere from 6 to 9, I believe. Because the sliding scale?
I think 10 is the max. I think.
But is it like mathematically difficult to get to 10?
Yes, it's exceedingly difficult. But
okay,
just as it's exceedingly difficult to have 6.
You're right. So we're more than likely 7 to 9.
Yeah. I think that 7 to 8 is most likely given the year that we are in.
Okay.
Because I don't think Ford versus Ferrari gets in.
So by that rule of thumb, we're getting probably only 8.
I think so, but I don't know for sure.
So then that means... All right, so I'm curious what you all have. We all have Irishman, Hollywood, Parasite, and 1917 making it in for nominations, correct?
And I have Joker too, for sure. I think Joker's in the for sure category at this point.
At this point now, it's probably made it. Those 5. If there was a 5 this year, those are probably the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and then we move on to the final. If there's going to be at least 7, so that means probably Marriage Story and then Jojo Rabbit for those last other 2 spots for the 7th spot. Or would we put Little Women over Jojo Rabbit?
I was going to put Little Women over Marriage Story, but sure.
No, you're right. That's actually true because it's gotten a lot more buzz than is needed. Then Marriage Story has not gotten the buzz outside of the acting that it's probably needed. Little Women has. So at this point, your 10 or 9 are Irishman, Hollywood, Parasite, 1917, Marriage Story, Joker, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit. Ford v Ferrari is an outside possibility, whichever way you want to throw that in there. Does that sound about right?
I've actually got Marriage Story as the outside 9.
Oh, okay. You're really... Okay, do we see anything else breaking in possibly, or is that kind of it?
I mean, even though this is tough because I think this could be a chart, even though it's mathematically impossible to get to 10. I think if any year it does somehow happen, this will probably be the year it would. but I honestly don't think it's going to happen. I mean, as an outside shot, I would love to see Endgame, but that hope's all pretty much all gone for me.
I was
Any
about to
hope I
say,
had for
by
that
that
happening.
time, I'm sorry, Malcolm. It's gone. It has a shot of winning stunt ensemble. SAG.
Just no buzz.
No buzz. Okay, so there are some real outside chances. Do you think Edgerton could bring in Rocket Man, or is that another?
No, I think it taps out with what it's got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the Farewell possibly make it in as the 9th?
Nope.
Nope. Does the Two Popes possibly make it in?
Nope.
No.
Does Bombshell possibly make it in?
No.
Brought in? Nope. So
I mean,
do you guys?
Bombshell could be a slight, but I don't think it's going to make it in there.
I mean, there is always those couple of movies that get the SAG nomination for ensemble, but don't make it into the actual pictures, and that could be Bombshell this year. Because what else got the SAG nomination for ensemble?
What else got the SAG nomination for ensemble?
And yes, please. I know Irishman. No, Irishman? Yeah, Irishman got it, and so did Hollywood.
I think the Farewell got it.
Outstanding performance by a cast: Bombshell, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
Parasite. Okay, that was what I was thinking of because I remember I liked that one. So there's always that one or two things that year that don't seem to translate. And I think Bombshell, you're right, could be that one that doesn't translate. But what is the one picture that could make it in as an outside chance out of nowhere to that 9 or 8 or whatever? Or is
I'd say as a surprise nomination and this is very far from out of nowhere with how much buzz it's gotten in the awards. I think Endgame will probably be that one that could do something like that. But I mean, well, I'm only saying that because it's in the realm of no possibility at this stage. So if that does somehow make it in, then that's probably going to be the most outside shot that's going to come out literally nowhere because it's. But
it literally will be out of nowhere.
I mean, honestly, I really can't think of one because if Cats somehow gets some buzz at the Oscars, I'm really going to be shocked.
It missed the song. It's not getting anything. But I was thinking Knives Out with that screenplay could be like that one. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of is it going to be that cut and dry for picture more so than anything else because we have such an expanded race.
I mean, so.
I mean, Knives Out is probably the one that literally could do that because it's got the PGA nom. But I mean, but once again, it's going to be one of those ones on. And it does look like Parasite's going to be loved as much that it's going to get in both international and picture for sure. I actually asked this question to some other people last night, but I'm going to ask it again. Which of the ones that we think for sure will get a nomination would you be shocked if they didn't get a nomination?
Would I be shocked?
For picture?
For Best Picture, yeah.
I mean,
I would be shocked if Once Upon a Time in Hollywood didn't. I would be shocked if 1917 didn't, and I would be shocked if Parasite didn't.
I mean, anything that we had mentioned above those 4 or 5 top, I would be. Well,
I would be less surprised if The Irishman missed than those others, though. That's where I'm at today.
That's big though for Irishman. That's like.
I think Irishman is going to get nominated. Don't take this as a prediction, but I would be less shocked if it missed than the other 3.
It's because it missed out on it has not had the same buzz as what you're saying.
Because it just hasn't won anything. It just can't prevail in any race.
I mean, NBR.
Okay. The National Board of Review.
You're right. Hey, by the time this also airs, Critics' Choices this is tonight, so it might get some critics love. But again, critics don't decide the Oscars, as we know. They just merely start the buzz.
That's Critics' Choice really tomorrow night. Jesus.
Yeah, I know, right? See, everything is happening at once. I don't like it. I can't. Especially in the last year, at least, happening. I don't have time. But yeah, I agree with Ryan. That's exactly what I would probably say. And with that, we are at 2 hours and 1 minute of recording. Actually, I'm cutting out part of this stuff that you guys won't hear. So it's less than 2 hours by the time we're done with this. So look at that. Digestible, everything. So that's everything, right? We've talked about the BAFTA. Oh, just as a clarification, I didn't mention everything for BAFTA. Best film for BAFTA was 1917, The Irishman, Joker, Hollywood, and Parasite. Those are literally the top 5 that Ryan had mentioned prior. So we are shocked by no stretch of the imagination. I believe that is everything. Oh yeah, just as a heads up, Best Casting is now an actual Oscar, or an actual BAFTA that they're giving out now, and that is kind of super cool. The thing that is really weird, though, is that you have Two Popes, Hollywood, Marriage Story, Joker, and the personal history of David Copperfield. Okay, that is the big question mark for me personally, because I love Dev Patel, but I don't get that by any stretch of imagination. But I love Best Casting being a thing. Again, so we're gonna end quickly by telling us where we can follow everybody and favorite performance of this year anywhere by any stretch of the imagination. So I'll start us off for the performance so you guys can keep thinking. Personally, for me, you can find me at Cine_Man. That's CINE_MANN. And my favorite performance this year probably would have to be Awkwafina in The Farewell. And Malcolm, where they can find you? What's your favorite performance of the year?
You can find me hosting Rankum on Saturday nights now. Last night we had a quick episode on fictional witches and wizards. You can also find me hosting Full Metal Random on Full Metal Trivia's YouTubes. You can also find me competing in the families everywhere. And favorite performance of the year.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to say Roman Griffiths Davis and Jojo Rabbit.
That is a good pick. And Ryan, where can they find you? And what's your favorite performance of the year?
My favorite performance of the year is, sorry, I'm down between 3. And I'm just trying to pick. Okay. I'm just trying to pick the one that that stands out more. Okay, you know what? Just because he's not going to be talked about enough, I'm going to pick Antonio Banderas' performance in Pain and Glory. The more I think about that, the more beautiful that performance becomes. My HMs, so to speak, are Leo for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Brad Pitt for Ad Astra. But I will go with Banderas for that.
Ad Astra, the movie that he should be winning his Oscar for, but alas.
Well, yeah.
Take it what we can. Because that movie's not talked about enough. And again, by the time you're listening to this, my personal channel, Manning First, my USA will officially be up. So again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all at the movies. And again, watch Oscar nominations with us. We're going to get up bright and early for you. Isn't that right, guys?
Yep.
All right.
Even if it has to be 2 a.m.
Thank you all again. Have a great rest of the week, and happy Nomination Day.